My name is Loretta Hale, and my husband's family offered me $500,000 USD for my signature. Not for forgiveness, not for closure, for silence. They wanted my name on the divorce papers so their golden son could marry his pregnant mistress without a scandal trailing behind him. I signed without hesitation. I did not cry. I did not argue. I did not beg. And then I left the country. They thought that was the end of me. They were wrong. The night everything broke, rain slammed against the floor-to-ceiling windows of our house like fists demanding entry. The sound filled the kitchen, heavy and relentless, matching the pressure in my chest. I was standing at the stove, reheating the beef stew Grant loved. I had cooked it the way his mother taught me. Low heat, no shortcuts. Patience. Grant was in the shower. His phone lay on the counter. It vibrated. Once. Twice. A name flashed across the screen. Jade. I had never seen it before. I was not the kind of woman who checked her husband's phone. In 5 years of marriage, I had learned that survival inside a powerful family depended on restraint, on knowing when not to look, but the phone vibrated again. And from the bathroom, Grant called out, irritated, "Loretta, can you grab that?" My fingers felt numb as I picked it up. I barely raised it to my ear before a woman's voice broke through, breathless and shaking. "Gee, I am scared." Grant rushed out of the bathroom, water dripping from his hair. He snatched the phone from my hand and turned his back to me. His voice changed instantly, soft, intimate. "Calm down, sweetheart. I am here. Do not cry. I will take care of everything." The spoon slipped from my hand and hit the tile. The sound was sharp, final. From that moment on, my life shifted into a different color palette. Everything looked the same, but nothing felt real anymore. My mother-in-law, Evelyn Hale, stopped calling. The family dinners she once demanded I host disappeared without explanation. When I visited the estate, her gaze slid past me as if I were a decorative object that had lost its purpose. My father-in-law, Richard Hale, never raised his voice. He did not need to. His silence carried more judgment than words ever could. Grant still came home, but he came home like a guest. Sometimes his shirt smelled unfamiliar, sweet, floral. Not mine. I told myself it was from a client, from a meeting, from a hotel lobby. I repeated it until the lie tasted bitter in my mouth. Then the photos hit the internet. Grant standing outside a private women's clinic, his arm wrapped protectively around a young woman with a visible baby bump. "Twins," the headline said. The caption called me the sidelined wife. I did not cry. Something inside me had already shut down. 3 days later, my phone rang. Evelyn's voice was sharp and stripped of pretense. "Be at the estate at 3. "Yes, Mom." "Do not call me that," she snapped. "You are about to lose that right." The line went dead. At 2:50 p.m., I stood at the iron gates of the Hale estate. The hedges were trimmed with surgical precision. Everything was controlled, ordered. Inside the study, Evelyn sat upright, her posture rigid. Richard stood beside her. On the table lay a stack of documents, divorce papers. Evelyn did not waste time. Jade is 3 months pregnant, with twins. I felt something crack inside me. For 5 years, I had sat in doctors' offices, listening to polite voices explain unexplained infertility. I had swallowed pills, followed schedules, pretended I was fine. And now someone else had succeeded effortlessly. "This family needs heirs," Evelyn said coolly. "If you cannot provide them, you should not occupy the position." Richard slid the papers toward me. "Sign these. The family will compensate you." I looked at the number, $500,000 USD, enough to erase me cleanly. The clauses were precise. No interviews, no press, no public commentary. And one final condition, I had 7 days to leave the United States. I could not return for 3 years. "You are exiling me," I said quietly. "It is for your own good," Evelyn replied. "Why would you stay? To watch Grant marry another woman?" I understood then. They were not paying me for my marriage. They were paying me to disappear. I asked for 3 days to decide. They granted it. Grant came home early that night. "What did my parents say?" he asked. "They offered me $500,000 to leave," I replied. He did not deny it. The silence told me everything. "Do you love her?" I asked. After a long pause, he nodded. "Yes." That was the moment my marriage ended. The nausea started the next morning. I blamed stress, exhaustion, but something felt different. At the clinic, the doctor studied my chart, then smiled gently. "You are pregnant, Loretta." About 6 weeks. The world tilted. 5 years of emptiness, and now life. I sat alone in the hallway, clutching the results. I did not tell Grant. I did not tell his family. This child would not become a bargaining chip. I signed the papers. I took the money, and I left. The plane lifted off as the city disappeared beneath clouds. I pressed my hand to my stomach and whispered my name aloud, grounding myself. "Loretta, you are still here." I landed in Madeira, a place where no one knew me. where my past held no weight. The first weeks were quiet, painfully so, but with each doctor visit, each heartbeat on the monitor, I felt stronger. I was no longer just a discarded wife. I was a mother. Months later, Evelyn found out. They came for my child. Lawyers. Letters. Threats dressed as concern. I did not run. I hired my own counsel. I learned my rights. When Evelyn flew in and demanded custody, I met her eyes without lowering mine. "This is my son," I said. "I am Loretta Hale, and I will not hand him over." For the first time, she hesitated. The labor began on a quiet night. The pain was immense, but it grounded me. When my son cried for the first time, the sound shattered every doubt I had ever carried. I held him close. "I am here," I whispered. "Your mother is here." Grant came later. Evelyn followed. They did not argue. They did not demand. They saw what I had become. I named my son alone. I raised him alone. And for the first time in my life, I felt whole. Because I learned something they never taught me. A woman's worth is not measured by what she gives up. It is measured by what she chooses to protect. My name is Loretta Hale, and no one will ever price my life again. If you stayed until the end, thank you for listening to my story. I shared it not for sympathy, but because I know there are women out there standing exactly where I once stood. If you were ever asked to stay silent, to step aside, or to disappear for someone else's comfort, I want you to remember this. Your life is not negotiable. And if this story resonated with you, leave a comment. Someone else scrolling tonight might need to know they are not alone.